All right, so I want you to think about a coach that you consider to be a bad coach, and tell me why you think that person was a bad coach.
Well, first thing is he put more emphasis on a couple of people and not the team as a whole. And if you didn't do what he wanted you to do, like he would basically torture you after practice. You would have to do the suicides like all day, all night. Like if you were to run out of breath, he did not care. You had to keep going. And you know, a lot of people would complain, and he just said that he was making the team better, but it really wasn't. It was just turning most of the students against him as a person.
Okay. Do you think he cared about you at all?
No, not at all, really. Just more about his few good people that he thought could possibly be pro or play in college or, you know, go to the next step, not the whole team as a whole. He did not.
So he put a lot of focus on winning and losing versus making you a better – did he make you a better basketball player?
No, not at all. No, he did not. It's just, it kind of – and I guess in high school it made me hate the sport. Well, not necessarily hate it, but I guess not wanting to play, you know, anymore. I think I was just kind of done with that sport at that time.
Okay. What – was there anything that he did well?
I can't really think of anything.
Let me ask you this: How successful was the team? Wins and losses. How'd y'all do?
The year that I played, we didn't do that well. I mean, you know, we had probably the same amount of losses that we had wins. It was about the same.
And what kind of relationship do you have with this coach now? Do you ever talk to him?
Oh no. I think he left the school actually after, I think the year after I played, he left and went transferred to another school.
So if you had a sister or a friend, would you encourage someone to play for that coach or someone like that coach?
Definitely not.
This coach, would you say that this coach made you a better athlete, a better basketball player? Did he motivate you in any way to be better?
Well, I guess, I wanted to be better because I wanted to be better, not because he necessarily pushed me to be better. It was just, you know, my personal, how I felt about it. That's why I wanted to be better.
I want you to think about a good coach, the best coach you've ever had, and tell me why was that coach the best coach you ever had?
Probably, well, when I played softball coach went above and beyond, you know, the call of duty. You know, if we wanted to go to the batting cage, she would take us individually or, you know, as a whole, and she actually cared, you know, about our performance. She cared about the team as a whole. You know, it wasn't all about wins. It was just about making us better players. Yeah.
Okay. How did she structure practices? And talk about that a little bit. And how did she make you a better softball player?
Well, practices, we started out, we had to run 2 miles every day, but that was the worst part of it. But I think, you know, as far as practicing goes, she would practice with us like as a team, and then she would do infield, then outfield, and, you know, have us, you know, throw with each other, and pretty structured, I would say.
Okay. Do you keep in touch with this coach now?
Well, we're friends on Facebook, so I guess you could say that we're probably still, because we keep in touch somewhat.
Okay. Did you ever go to this coach with issues that, you know, maybe weren't with softball? Did you ever confide in this coach at all?
Yes, because she was that type of person that we could.
You felt like she cared about you?
Yes.
More so than the basketball
Oh,
coach?
definitely. Definitely by a long shot.
So I just want you to think about a good coach that you've had, and tell me why you thought they were a good coach. What did they do?
Well, I feel like the coach that I have in mind, she was a mentor. She cared about us more than just what was on the floor. She taught us life lessons. She was hard on us when she needed to be hard on us. She loved us when we needed to be loved. But she really set the foundation for after I finished playing basketball that has, I feel like, brought me to where I am today.
And what was your relationship with the coach after you were done playing for that coach? Did you stay in touch?
Yes, I still am in touch with her. I still see her a couple times a year. She's still in Texas, but still, you know, call her for advice, run situations past her. How would you handle this? Those kind of things, and so definitely we'll always have a friendship with her.
So if you had a daughter, would you want your daughter to play for that coach?
Definitely, absolutely.
How did that coach make you a better athlete? Were you a better basketball player after having played for your coach?
Yes, she taught me the game. She taught me just the ins and outs of running a team, of leadership, of how to take care of your team. Just what was more important than, I mean, she did make me a better basketball player skill-wise, but she also taught me kind of the intangible things that would be not necessarily skill stuff, but chemistry and leadership and you know, some of those things that go into being successful as a team or a player that aren't just shooting free throws and layups and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Now, you said you couldn't really think of a bad coach, but could you, just from your own experience, have you witnessed poor coaches at work or the effects that poor coaching has had on athletes?
I mean, I've seen in my job that I do now, I've seen just kind of maybe some opponents' coaches and how the coaches handle their team. But I mean, to each, you know, it's not my place to judge how they coach their kids sometimes. But for my personal style, just the language and the in your face and the tearing them down and that kind of stuff, that's not my personal belief. But so I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Could you, what, I mean, if you had to just, if you were making up a coach and you were saying, this is what a bad coach would look like, how would they run a practice? What would a bad coach do at practice, and how would a bad coach prepare the athletes?
I think just not being organized, not being prepared, not following through on, you know, with consequences to certain, if you set goals or if you say, you know, this is your curfew and you don't check curfew, you know, just following through. I think kids really respond to discipline, especially I think now and with the kids that we coach today, they need discipline, they want structure. So I think a coach that is not organized, has not got that structure, doesn't have their own philosophy that they live every single day, the kids see that, and I think it's easy for them to you know, lose respect and that kind of thing.
Okay. All right, so I want you to think about someone that you consider to be a good coach, and tell me about some of the experiences you've had with that coach. Why are they good?
All right. Well, I play soccer. I've been playing all my life, and just a couple seasons ago, I had a coach who I'd say is a good coach. The practices were always really structured, and he expected a lot out of us. They were always well run. He expected us to try our best every time, and we'd have a good time. We'd joke around, but you know, if he thought it went too far, you know, he'd nix it, as opposed to, you know, just a loose practice, do whatever you want. I don't care for that. So.
Okay. And what about off the field? Was he there? I mean, do you feel like that he was a good coach off the field, helping you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, if we went to tournaments and stuff, we'd always do stuff together. You know, forget about soccer for a little while. You know, we'd have a good time. Like, yeah, I looked up to him. You know, gave me advice, schoolwork and stuff.
And tell me about the relationship that you have with that coach now. Is it someone that you still stay in contact with?
Yeah, he's no longer my coach, but I stop in and check on him every now and then. Still, I text him every now and then.
And would you encourage other athletes to be able to, you know, to play for him if they had a chance?
Definitely. Great coach. He knows his stuff, and you have a good time when you play for him.
And how did that coach help you as an athlete? Were you a better athlete or a better soccer player?
Yeah, he taught me different, you know, knowledge of the game and, you know, how to do things. He's a really good coach.
Okay. Now, take a minute, think about someone that you would consider to be a bad coach, and tell me why. What happened to make you think that this coach was a bad coach?
All right. I've had a couple of them. like I said, with the good coach, the practices were structured. The bad coaches I've had, they were real loose. It's almost like they didn't know what they were trying to accomplish for that day or that practice. They think they're like above you. Like the good coach I had, he would yell, but it'd be for a purpose, like to try and teach you something. The bad coach I have just yell just because they want to hear themselves talk. Almost demeaning to the kids. If you do something wrong, they'll let you know every single time, and that's not what we like.
And what about off the field? How were they as far as Coach Thaler?
Like for tournaments, he would never try and do stuff with the team. It's just you're on your own. Be here whenever. And that's not fun.
And what kind of relationship do you have with that coach now?
I don't really talk to him at all.
And so if you had a brother, sister, or a friend that wanted to play for that coach, would you recommend them doing that?
Not particularly, no.
So as a coach, how was he a good, effective coach, I guess, as far as making you a better soccer player?
He didn't really know what he was talking about, so tried not to listen to him.
All right, so tell us about a coach you've had that you described as bad. And tell us about why you thought they were bad and kind of your experiences with them.
Coach I had was a football coach. I'd say he was bad because of his emphasis on winning, and teams that were better than us, his emphasis on ways to win, namely ways to injure other players, ways to get them out of the game, especially some linemen that we played against that were top linemen, ways to injure ACLs and things of that nature, and was concerned about whatever we had to do to move their players out of the game to give us the best shot to win.
So how did he influence you as a player?
As far as influence goes, when it came to the mechanics of the game, he was good. His fundamentals were great as far as coaching, but as far as inspiring me to play, it was kind of one of those moral dilemmas that you want to win by being the better team, not by winning because you were able to knock their player out of the game. So I guess it made me evaluate my ability as a player and focus on trying to work harder to be better, not find ways to get around improving myself.
How did his particular coaching style, do you think it had an influence on the team as a group?
I think as a group, some players fed into it. Some players kind of got on board with him wanting to win so bad that, we were not a good team. And, the chance to knock off a team who had won state, 2 years in a row or whatever the case was, just the ability to go out there. I think some players fed into that. When he'd get fired up about it, they'd kind of get into that same mindset, like, whatever it takes to get out there and win, let's just do that. So there was definitely some players that fed into that.
Yeah. Do you still keep up with him?
No. I did right after high school, but then just lost touch.
Yeah.